Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, April 3rd. We're looking at Window Traders Market Profile VS and NQ. So two things right off the bat, which I preach a lot about, and I should have listened to it. Number one, when you make money, I think it's a good idea. You go to a bank and you take out like $200, $300, $400, $500, right? $100 bills. And when you make money on a day, put it in front of you. Because if anybody tried to grab that money from you, right, you'd punch them in the face, right? You don't want to give away what you're up, no matter what it is. Number two is respect how short-term traders can move a market. And number three, and probably one of the most important, is the Three Stooges, and this is why I call them that, take MGI and twist it like a pretzel sometimes, which they did today, especially in L period. We go out, we put the daily back in balance, we got with a 9-wide point of control, a poor high in ES, and we never filled the gap. That was a large gap from yesterday. We leave a couple of points. We leave 2 cents in SPY. NQ filled their gap. NQ goes out with a 9-wide POC, and they go out with a trend day that held. It was a lot bigger than this, but they held theirs. We barely held the IB low. Righty goes out with a trend day that holds and a 10-wide point of control. They also have the gap from yesterday that's rather large that they just barely got into in G period, C and G. So, but they did put their daily back to balance, and they had a chance for an outside day up, but did not get it. They closed inside of yesterday's range. So the bulls were in control. They had a beautiful push in A and B. And then we really died, right? We got no extension after B in ES. NQ got better extension. I'm in bigger increments now. I'm in ones in ES. NQ got extension in C and D. But ES never did. But with the value, the raising of POC, now we did lower POC at one point, but we had raised it earlier. Value, IB high, overnight high, the opening. We were holding single prints. I'm like, I don't expect to take this all back. Well, we did in ES for the most part. But all we did was take it back and come right back up. But that doesn't matter for the trade I had in L. But before we get to that, I had a good start to the day in A, B, and C in both ES and NQ. So initially, I shorted NQ against... Let me get to it. The POC from yesterday in A period and the overnight POC then in B period, and did okay on those. Okay? Did well on those. Not in B period. I'm sorry. In A period, shorted. And actually, I did short it in B period. Not against the overnight POC. I shorted it against yesterday's high. The first time it got up there. And I briefly got paid. And I'm like, I'm out of this. And then that was it. Started looking for longs. I also had a short in ES against the overnight POC in A period, which I got paid on. Okay? But then the short game changed after that. B period just ripped up. We had a lowest accepted price, which I like to use, where A closes, B opens up and rips. Well, ES took it back. Obviously, we took back the singles and B's low. NQ, though, held the singles and that. So I'll carry both of those forward. So right after the short game was over, then I looked long in NQ to get, what was I looking for in NQ on that long? Oh, when we came back to the overnight POC. No, it wasn't that. It couldn't have been that. I took a long in NQ. What was it to get? It might have been to get the overnight high. It was to get I wrote down the overnight POC. It wasn't the overnight POC. Because we had blown through there. I took a quick short, I thought, against yesterday's high. Pulled back a little bit. I'm like, there's no way I should be short this. Reversed, got along to take out the overnight high. In B period, I was also long in ES on the 15-minute turnover because the ALGOs were firing up. So on the 15-minute turnover, I thought it was good to be long. Took a long in C period in ES to get the IB high. That worked out. So I had a good morning in A, B, and C. I did not do another thing until G period. In NQ, when it pushed back, I thought we would get an afternoon pullback inside the single print and hold last week's low. Remember, last week's an inside week down initially. Look where we closed, right below it. So when we blew above it today, when we came back, I thought that was a good long, and it was. I got paid on that in G. So I was having a good day. So then I'm telling the room as we're going on, look, I know it's the Three Stooges. A lot of times they distort things. I said, but I think the MGI is strong enough that they don't take back the whole trend day. Well, I was wrong. So when ES came down in L period, I started along at 66. And then it flushed really hard. I took another long at around 60, I forgot what it was, 61 or 60. And then it flushed out. I got out of it for a loss. And I also was long NQ at the same time. When NQ flushed, I took the long again in L period against last week's low and G's low. That flushed, got out of it. Now, I got hurt pretty good on both of them. Gave back my whole day and more. Only to see this market, it did push down more, but only to see this market coming right back to those levels where I was where I got long. But that's a sign of emotional trading. It's a sign of frisky algos and just, momentum traders just going along with the flow. Nobody's fault but my own. Been a rough week, P&L wise. I lost, again, I'm not down big, but I lost on Monday, I lost today now, and I made yesterday, but nothing big. So, been a pretty tough start to this week. No continuity. Again, I talk about that a lot. Well, that's, again, today. We had the trend day. It went up. I'm like, okay, I think we're going to hold it. We have some good MGI for the buy side. And then, woof, take it all back in one shot and then come right back. So, that's a function of don't let them take the money away from you, A. And B, the Three Stooges have a great reputation for doing that, for totally taking MGI and distorting it. As far as destinations go, so on our upside now, we're 9 wide at 520.39, and then we have today's high in SPY, 520.95, and filling the gap at 97, 2 cents. Amazing. We have today's low, 517.67. In ES, we have a 9 wide pocket, 74.75. Our high is 80.75 and then filling the gap at 82.25. And our low today is 47. And then on the chart, don't forget I'm running that special. You can look through my Twitter account and or some previous videos I did this week, which would show you all the information. If you have any questions, you can email me, paul@camelbacktrading.org. Okay, it runs through the end of this month. So here's the weekly. We're back into balance. Again, I'm not sure what kind of balance I'll call it. We'll see by the end of the week what it looks like. I don't know if I'd call it a 2-week balance or a 3-week balance for now, so we'll see. Bottom line is we're balanced. The daily's also back to balance. Now, again, this is a very good thing to look at. A lot of people ask me, well, what are you going to call it? You're going to call it a 2-day balance? Are you going to call it a 3-day balance? Or are you going to encompass this whole thing? It's a tough call. You're not wrong. I would not call anybody wrong if they called it a 2-day balance or a 3-day balance, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or this whole thing. So I'm just going to say we're in balance now. I don't think I would call the daily up if we took out today's high. I really don't. So I think I would I would probably use this whole thing. I would think we need to make a new high, all-time high, to call the daily back up. That's how I would look at it. Obviously, if we take out yesterday's low tomorrow, we would go back from, right? We were balanced to down yesterday. Balance to bear, back to balance. If we take out yesterday's low, back to bear. So that all remains to be seen. Volume, not good at all, only 58 million. Once again, volume and ranges have been really, really poor. I hope you had a good day trading today. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.